Hello, welcome you all for the Oracle UIM Design Studio demo by Selcom Solutions. In this demo, we will be demonstrating about how to create a UIM cartridge using Design Studio. The agenda is overview, UIM modeling, service and service configuration creation, creation of physical and logical devices, assign devices to the service configuration, creation of equipment folder which includes rack, shelf and car, and creation of parties and place. Let's start the Design Studio. And this session is about create a UIM cartridge using Design Studio. Design Studio is an Eclipse plugin which is available in easydev.oracle.com as part of UIM release. And using this plugin, we can create a new cartridge. We can import existing cartridges for modification. We can upload older version cartridges to a newer version, and even we can deploy the cartridges into the server also. We can see this installed version of Design Studio in Help menu. Click on the last item about Oracle Communication Design Studio and click on Oracle Communication button. So this will list out the version of the Oracle Communication Design Studio. Currently this is 735 and the build number is D9. So here is the Design Studio workspace where I have imported 4 base cartridges. These are the mandatory cartridges, and these must be present when we create a new UIM cartridge. See, this cartridge is like base extension point has extension points and base rule sets has the rule sets, and Aura UIM MDS and Aura UIM model or the model cartridges, those have the UIM base entities. These base entities will be referred by the new created cartridges, and the new cartridge has a dependency of all these 4 cartridges. So let's create a new cartridge. Let's click on Studio menu, New, Project, and Inventory. Let's create a cartridge. Let's name it as Broadband. So this Broadband target version is 735, and it uses JDK 1.8. Now I am in Package Explorer. You can go to Studio Project also to explore the project components. So now we have created a broadband cartridge. So let's add service and service configuration in this cartridge. Go to Studio, New, Inventory, Service, Service Specification. Let's create broadband service. Now the service got created as broadband service, and this has 3 default attributes: ID, name, and description under characteristics. Let's create a service configuration. Studio, New, Inventory, Services, Service configuration. Let's name it as broadband service configuration. Now we have created service and service configuration. Now we can rate the service into service configuration. Just click on the broadband service, double click on the broadband service, and then you can go to the service configuration tab where we can add this service configuration to this service. So broadband service configuration got listed here, and just select the configuration, say OK. Now save the cartridge, and let's add some attribute to the service level. Double click on the broadband service, click on characteristics where we can add any number of characteristics to the service. Let's add some sample attribute like add characteristics. This panel has listed few existing attributes. Either we can use it or we can straight away create and can use this create new element option to create a new one if the existing attribute is not suited to us. And let's click on the next. Right. container category, let it be a string, and we also have a structured data element also, simple data element or structured data element. Even we can add structured data element also. Let's add one more structured data element like product category, or we can also see any existing element which is suited to broadband. Let's select a network. Registered is simply as a network, so automatically it comes as a structured element. Structured element is nothing but it has certain attributes, or it can have a nested element in a tree structure, so we can just keep adding it as per the tree structure. So there are two types of attributes we can add here. Let's go into configuration. So service can have many configurations, configuration instances, but only the recent configurations will be active one. Rest all the discontinued one. And let's add some attributes on the configuration level also. Create a new element. Next. That's a complex element of something like network config is a structured element now. You can add a few attributes within this. Add characteristics. Create a new element. Now we have one normal attribute and one structured attribute which has three attributes, normal attributes. Now we have created service and service configuration, and we have related the service into service configuration, and we have added few more attributes for service and service configuration also. Now let's add some devices. Go to studio, new, inventory, resources. Let's add a physical device. Specification. Make it as a CPU, router. It's a physical device. Let's add physical port also. Studio, new, inventory, resources, physical port specification. Let's add port CPU, router port. Now we have one physical device and we have one port specification. So let's open the CPE router. The same way we can add our own attributes within the for the CPE router, and we can let's go to the related specification. We have an option to relate the add the physical port to the CPE router. Let's select the CPE router. Click on the CPE router port. Say OK. Save it. Now physical router has router port with 1 into 1 minimum, 1 maximum. Let's modify it to 1 to many. Let's click on this, modify it. Let's say the router has 4 ports. You can say 4. Maximum quantity is 4. Now one physical device can have maximum of 4 ports. Now let's attach this physical device to the configuration. So let's open the configuration. Right click, configuration items, add item, physical device. Let's say CPU. CPE router, the name is CPE router. Okay. We have created on CPE router already. Let's go to the specification options. Let's take it an assignment. There are two types are available: assignment or reference. In case of assignment, this particular device is assigned for only one config item for one service. In case of reference, the same device can be referenced by many services. So now we are going to do only assignment. So this assignment is this physical device is specific to the particular service instance only. Let's assign the physical device here. Add CPE router. Now CPE router is assigned to this particular CPE router config item. Then save it. Now CPE router is attached to the broadband service configuration. Now let's create a logical device DS UIM. So here to studio, new, resources, logical device, specification. Let's create DS UIM. This one. So now we have created DSLAM device, and let's add a logical device configuration. New, resources, logical device configuration specification. Let's create it. Okay, now DSLAM configuration created. Let's map the logical device configuration to the logical device. From the logical device, go to the logical device configuration, select DSLAM configuration. Okay. Now DSLAM configuration also created. Now let's create a device interface to connect to the logical device. So click on studio, new, inventory, resources, logical device interface. Let's find out the logical device interface. Device interface specification. Now logical device interface got created. Relate this DSLAM to logical device interface. Select the DSLAM device. Click on related specification. Select the device interface. Okay. And save it. So now the logical device is created and logical device configurations are created and device interface also attached to that. Now in device interface relationship, we can just assign how many device interfaces can connect to the logical device. It can be defined in the relationship. Click on modify and you can select like 64. Just 64 maximum quantity. So 64 device interfaces can be used for this logical device. Let's say okay. Now let's create a reference DSLAM references in the configuration. Let's open the service configuration, broadband service configuration. Let's create a new configuration item to hold the DSLAM reference. Add item DSLAM. This will become the DSLAM. Click on specification option. Let's mark it as a reference since the same DSLAM being referenced for many customer services. So that's why we are marking it as a reference. In case of physical router, we are marking it as an assignment because it is a one-to-one assignment. But here the same DSLM reference by all other services, customer services. So that's why we are marking it as a reference. Here single instance will be referred by all the services. Okay, now DSLM configured the service configuration. Now let's start with the equipment. Normally equipments will be created for rack, shelf and cart. Let's create an equipment. Rack. Click on the properties. Change it to rack. Let's click on another equipment. Equipment specification. Change it to cell. Let's mark it as pro. Or even we can mark it as 2 also. Let's create another equipment. Mark it as prod. 8 document folder 8. So now session the rack has 4 cells and 4 cells, each cell has 8 cards. Let's create an equipment folder also. Equipment folder. Card holder. Now the card holder is created. Let's select the. Let's relate the card holder with cell and card. Save the changes. Now let's select a cell, go to visualization. So here the cell templates got listed. Let's select one cell. Okay. Save the changes. I selected one cell, and let's select the card also. Go to visualization. Select the card here. Save it. Okay. Now in the cell, click on numbering. So this will be auto numbered for the cell locations, and then click on the empty cards. So the card holder, place it. And the card also. So here I have placed few card holders and cards randomly, and click on save. Go to that. Cell. We can drag it, the entire cell. So now we got the entire shelf within the rack. So this is the way we can design cell. I mean the rack under cell. So under rack we can add shelves, and under shelves we can add card holders, and under card holders we can add the card. So in this hierarchy we can design it, and we can create an instance in the UIM, and then we can start using it. So the number of cells under a rack, the number of card holders under the cell, is we can easily define it on every object. Let's say let's open the card. Here we have added 8 cards. So if we take a cell, we have added 4 cells under a rack. So this is the pictorial representation of the rack. Okay, let's look at something more in this. Let's go to the new inventory. We have infrastructure objects like party. Party is the customer or a business entity. So let's click on the party. We can add on specification like customer. So now the customer specification got created. Under this customer, we can add multiple attributes, and let's create another infrastructure entity, place. Say address, service address. So now we have created a place specification. Under specification, there are certain inbuilt attributes are there. We can, if we need, we can add some more attributes on this. Let's see some more attributes. Inventory, infrastructure. We have custom object specification also. So this specification can be used any unrelated UIM entities, like it can be anything, any custom attribute to represent any custom objects. So let's name it something like let's say broadband package details. and this is a custom object where we can add package related attributes and we can use it. This is a generic specification which can be used to create any custom object. Let's see some more attribute existing infrastructure. Custom environment specification also there. So this custom environment specification used to relate to unrelated entities. To unrelated any unrelated entities can be connected together. So using this custom environment specification, we can retrieve the unrelated entries, and this is useful when we don't find any structured relationship within this UIM entities. Okay. Now let's see this cartridge. So under cartridge in Project Explorer, navigate to the Project Explorer. Now we are in Studio project. Go to the Project Explorer. You can see expand the cartridge bin. You can see the broadband jar has been created. So this is a cartridge final form in the form of jar file, and this jar file can be installed as a cartridge in the UIM. Okay. Let's summarize the things. So initially what we did is we have created a workspace in Eclipse and we have imported the base cartridges. Those are required for creating the UIM cartridge, and those are Aura UIM base extension points, base rule sets, Aura UIM MDs and model cartridge. These 4 cartridges must be present in the Eclipse workspace, then only we can create a new UIM cartridge. Later than that, we have created a new broadband cartridge. Within the broadband cartridge, we have created service. Let's open the model. We have created service, broadband service and broadband service configuration, and we have done a relation between them, and then we have created some attributes, normal attributes and structured attributes, and later than that we have created a physical device CP router and physical device port CP router port, and we related it, and finally we attached it into the service configuration. And the second thing is like we have created equipment in terms of rack, shelf, card holder and card. We made a relation between them, and then we have created using visualization, and finally we have created the rack. And the next thing is like we have created a party, and party which represents the customer. It could be a business customer or residential customer. And the next thing is like we did place location. It's a place. It can be used for to represent the customer address or service address, whatever it will be, or site. So finally we found that the cartridge jar has been created. The jar is ready now for deployment. To deploy this cartridge, you can create an environment, studio, new environment, click on the new environment, and using this wizard we can configure using this UIM service, UIM server IP address and port, and then it requires username and password. I mean the cartridge username and password required for deploying it. All these configurations made, we can straight away deploy it using studio, deploy, and select the cartridge and select the respective environment. Automatically it is got installed in the server. That's all for now. Thank you.